Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm Tina, and if you haven't been here before, I'm a part-time reseller. I sell on Posh, I sell on eBay. Today we're going to talk about 2026 trends, things that should be popular in the media, and just things that you should be looking for. So this is going to be really good for my style-based girlies. So yeah, I have a few notes here. We're going to talk about this. This is going to be very unedited. I'm going to spell things incorrectly, so just roll with it. All right, so first up, we're going to talk about Victorian fashion, and then we'll get into Victorian goth at some point. But all right, so the first thing that you're going to want to look for is Victorian inspired outfits. So you're going to want a high neck with a lot of ruffles. You're going to want satin. It's a very covered up style. Um, Brooches. You're also gonna want brocade. This kind of style is gonna be really good with ornate details like buttons. It's also going to be really good for maxi dresses, things that you would have seen in the 1800s. So all of that is going to be popular for 2026. I say this also because Bridgerton is coming out this January and into February, and so it's going to be very big. Besides that, you might also, if you haven't seen it, a good one to reference would be Jenna Ortega's Red Carpet from 2026 when she was at the Golden Globes, and she had this look on. It's going to be really popular, and this kind of goes into like the gothic styling because of the black, and just, her hair and makeup style has always been kind of on the alternative, but it's going to be all the beading and ornate details, the high neck again, like we were talking about. So Victorian is going to be really good. Also, Wuthering Heights comes out this year with Jacob Elordi and Margot Robbie, so those are going to be huge. So yeah, just think like corsets, lace, satin, brocade, ornate details, beading. This would even go into like a coquette kind of a style, but even older than that. So you might see something like this from like vintage 70s styles even. But this is kind of the realm of what you're gonna find. Yeah, like this would be a good one. Pinterest also mentioned poetic aesthetic as being really popular for 2026 with their forecast. So that's just something to look out for. But it should be very popular, very in for this 2026 season. Very ladylike. Okay, so now let's look at the goth aesthetic. It's going to be a little darker, darker colors like black, going into like gothic styles. Typically it's going to be Victorian because there is a Victorian goth styling, but it's a little different. And we'll look at some pictures here. Yeah, like this one. Corsets, darker colors, black, lace, satin. If you're a man, maybe one of those. I think that's called an ascot, if I'm correct. But just to give you an idea of what to look for, fans might even be a good one. Um, and cameo necklaces probably will be a big deal. Oh, I love this. This is a really good one. Kind of witchy. Which should also be very in as well. All right, so next we're going to talk about Whimsy Goss. Whimsy Goss is still going to be really good. It's going to be in, but I also think that it's going to be because of Practical Magic is coming out. They're going to do a sequel, so this should actually be a continuation of Whimsy Goth because of the witchiness and all of that. So you are going to have like the greens and the purples and the velvets, like this dress here with like lace. I believe cameo necklaces are also going to be really good for this one because their house is actually Victorian in the movie. Maxi skirts. I honestly wouldn't be surprised either if we start veering into like the 90s straight jeans. But again, with the lace and just very dainty, girly aesthetics, they're going to be really hot for 2026. Nicole Kidman and Sandra Bullock. You can also think Charmed. You can also think Sabrina the Teenage Witch from the 90s. These are really cute. This is good. Yeah, this is beautiful. But if you've been into reselling for a while, I don't have to explain much more to you about Whimsy Goth. It's been popular for a few years now. Rose McGowan. Her style is also very like vampy, very alternative, and sort of boho as well. All right, so next up, we're going to talk about oh, this is one that's actually going to be really good as well. So, okay, so this one is going to be military jackets for women. These are trending right now, and they're also expected to be trending for 2026. These kind of details here that kind of go into like a band, sort of like 1800s inspired jacket, like Napoleon era jackets are supposed to be really popular. And it can even be like on the gothic style with velvet, lobster clasps, frog clasps. I know that Adidas came out with a jacket and people lost their minds over it. It's actually really cute. Let's see if I can. If you haven't seen it, is this it? Here it is. These two. For the Adidas Chinese New Year jacket. This came out, it was a very limited edition. You could only get it overseas, but people lost their minds. So that's another one that's going to be very popular. So if you see these kinds of details up here on a jacket, I would definitely give it a Google lens to kind of get your ideas validated in at least the eBay algorithm to see what other people are searching for. Like, yeah, this is very much so like band inspired with the detailing on the arm. But military jackets in general, so olive green. I would even say double-breasted coats would be in as well. It's definitely giving a little bit of like 2005 jacket. So there should be plenty of these, and I know from just my own research on eBay is that this one, it doesn't matter what the brand is, so it could be Forever 21, Apartment 9, Chico's. People are buying these right now. So just be on the lookout for these kinds of details when you're out there buying. And this is a really good style-based pickup that you can incorporate into your store when you're out at the thrift and you're looking for things. Yeah, like all of these are really great examples. Yeah, like this has to be like 2008 when Rihanna had the one shaved side of her hair. But very in right now, giving 2005 with all of the buttons and the details on the jackets. These are really good right now. Okay, so another one that I heard was also supposed to be really in that kind of goes along with the other aesthetics that is supposed to be popular for 2026 is brooches. So anyone can get in on this. These very ornate, very detailed brooches are going to be really big. So if you're out and about, I'm not saying that you need to go out of your way for this one, but if you're out and about and you see a very ornate brooch, I know a lot of times for me in my thrift stores, they tend to be inside of the glass cases. It doesn't take long, so if you can just skim them to kind of give you an idea. Another really good person to look for brooches, and I know that a lot of her brooches from just my research in general was Jenna. I think her name is Jenna Chung. Is that right? I don't think that's right. I don't think that's right. There was Jen. Just so you guys can get a look at the brooch that I'm talking. Oh, Cynthia. That's why I'm wrong. So if you're out in the thrift and you see something like this and it's very ornate, her brooches can go for really good money. I just want to put that out there, although they're very distinctive. So if you do find these, they can go for really good money. And we'll take a look real fast at some of these soul comps. Most of the time, if you go out to the thrift, they're going to be used. So I'm just going to filter it to used. And just the sold comps for these alone are really good. Like this went for $135. That is insane for a brooch. But I mean, can I get a better picture? Wow, that's insane. This baby went for $135. And another thing is that like it won't say her name on it. It'll just say jewelry 10 on it and it'll be stamped on the back. But her brooches go for really good money. I still think 50 is good. 30, I can do 30. But 50, 158, 130, 110. That's insane. I definitely would, if I saw something this ornate, give it a quick Google, but these are all really good prices. So if you are out at the thrift, 125, 115, then that's something that you could keep a lookout for. But brooches are supposed to be really hot for 2026 as well. So we're going into sort of like the mid 2000s where like bling and accessories and like I don't know if you guys remember like the huge necklaces that were really cool and like the Obama era with J. Crew, those necklaces. I feel like it's veering into accessories. And of course, if you see something and it stands out, I mean, it only takes a minute or two to look it up. Yeah, like these are gorgeous. Of course, if I see something and it says that it's gold or silver, I'm absolutely. Ooh, this is adorbs. I'm absolutely going to give it a quick look, and it shouldn't take very long. But yeah, think Labubu's. We're going into accessories. Okay, so next I want to talk about. Okay, so this one is going to be the more conservative, preppy aesthetic. So I would say it's going to be like a Princess Diana, because a Princess Diana sort of aesthetic is going to be really big too. I heard this one from Emma Chamberlain. And the 80s are supposed to be really big for 2026. Kind of reminds me how, like, in the 2010s, it was really big. The 80s were really big, like acid wash and stuff like that. So it kind of makes sense. It's annoying. Which is why I also think we're going to be going into like the straight leg pants and going for more of a tapered silhouette as opposed to the wide leg that we've been doing for some years. I don't expect it to be an abrupt change, but I definitely think that it's on the radar. These Princess Diana inspired outfits, 80s inspired outfits, 90s chic. I can absolutely see that. Not so much like a maximalist, but giving that 90s clean aesthetic that people love and that's preppy that she always wore. That look just very classic and tailored and put together. Another one that I feel like is going to go really good with this is going to be like a Kate Middleton outfit from like I'd say like 2008, 2010. Very ladylike, very preppy. It's giving. Do casual because it's not filtering like I would like it to. I can see the riding boots coming back. Emma Chamberlain, she talked a lot about that as well. His riding boots coming back, but just like the cable knits, the wools, the Harris tweed, very English inspired, classic, heritage, old money aesthetic types of clothing. Those are going to be the ones that you're going to want to look for. Oh, okay, yeah, like this. I can't imagine there's going to be skinny jeans altogether, but maybe with like a taller riding boot. And I think this field jacket, which is giving very much so like Ralph Lauren, is going to be huge. With like the huge pockets, not just like a field jacket, but even just like the olive greens, the khakis, kind of giving like barn jacket aesthetics, like hunting. These are, I think, going to be really big. As well as, I could even see like a quilted jacket, kind of like this, becoming really big like it was in like 2000, like the late 2000s. Quilted, which quilted jackets have been in for a little bit now, but I think it's going to be less on the patchworky side and more on the old money aesthetic. Yeah, like the tall riding boots. I could even see that just because of the skinny jeans. It really doesn't work without them. But cable knit sweaters, riding boots, Ralph Lauren inspired English British styling. Greens, browns, neutrals, even blacks, tweeds. These are all going to be really big. And see, I would also say like English countryside fashion in general, because it's very much a part of the aesthetic that Ralph Lauren tends to veer into. And Ralph Lauren is having a moment right now. So continue to pick up like the barn jackets. Riding boots will be huge. That kind of thing. Yeah, like I love this. It's so cute. I feel like it's giving like late 2008 J. Crew. Or at least late 2000s J. Crew. Okay, another one that I think is going to be really good, just based on what I saw and have heard from other people, is I think safari jackets are also going to be in more in the realm of like the Ralph Laurens, the Banana Republics with like the huge pockets. I think this is going to be very in for 2026. Emma Chamberlain also mentioned something about these kinds of jackets, although I think she was mostly referencing the ones that were a little bit more cropped. But again, military inspired as well. Looks like Chloe had in 2025. And there are some pretty good comps for Ralph Lauren safari jackets. So if you want to look those up and you find them, I think they're going for about $50 right now. If you find it, and it looks a lot like this with like the khaki. Yeah, Yeah, this and these on yeah, on the shoulders, this is also really good. In neutral colors, these are going to be good. There's really good comps out there right now for this kind of stuff. So I would just be conscious of Kate Middleton. And just be conscious of if you see any of this stuff in the thrift. Of course, it's not going to be every single safari jacket that you find, but the details are really important. Yeah, I think Emma Chamberlain was mostly speaking of like a 3/4 sleeve kind of situation, like a shorter sleeve that we've seen in like the mid 2000s. But I think these pockets are going to be really good. If you don't know, Banana Republic was known for like their safari stuff back in like the 90s, I think it was, and a lot of that stuff is vintage, so it's really good. The last one that I want to talk about today is dark romantic outfits. It is going to go with the Victorian outfits that we spoke of, Gothic outfits that we spoke of, but it's going to be a little bit less 1800s inspired, Bridgerton inspired. This one is going to be more of like a dark witchy, not really boho, but just a lot of black. I would even say fur. Vamp style. So it doesn't have to be black, but I also think it would be more of like a dark burgundy, a purple, like vampire inspired fits. So if you see something that's very lacy, very girly, but it has a dark color to it, it's in a flowy fabric, like this would be really good. I also say cameo necklaces would be really good. Um, and it could be just just something you would see here mostly. Satins will be good. Even if it's lingerie, I feel like. Corsets will also fit into this one. But definitely look out for this if you see it. And I would say that you probably want to pair it with some kind of a brand if it wasn't a very ornate piece. Yeah, like this is gorgeous. Oh my gosh, it's beautiful. Even Kim K getting in on it. Yeah, like lace and just ornate details, buttons. I would even say it would be giving like a John Galliano kind of aesthetic. Yeah, very dark romantic inspired. And Jenna Ortega and her outfit would fit perfectly with this. Ooh, this is gorgeous. Love it. So even